So this person is saying that in the United States, if white Americans were to become a minority population, that they would still maintain a lot of their privileges. And I think this is a good opportunity to talk about two concepts that are often thrown around interchangeably, and that is what it means to be a minority versus what it means to be marginalized. The first thing to address is how there have been all of these projections that by 2045 or 2050, somewhere in there, that the United States will be a white minority country wherein white folks will make up 49% of the US population and people of color will make up the other 51%. And I would like to point out that that only makes white folks a minority if we consider all other people of color the same group. Unless there is a specific demographic that we also consider to be people of color that has a higher population percentage than white Americans are not going to be a minority group. Okay, so that means that either the Black American community or the non-white Latino community has to surpass on their own the number of white Americans in the United States. That's the only way that white Americans would become a minority population. It is also worth noting that the racial demographic data that is collected through the census is self-reported, and that in and of itself is its own messy metric that lends itself to some problems. Now, all of that aside, the difference between being a minority and being marginalized is that minority status is a matter of population percentage and size, whereas marginalization is about proximity to power. And you can have a population that has a minority status in terms of size, but has a disproportionate influence over our major social systems like education, politics, and economics. And this means that for the most part, the advantages that are conferred by having white or fair skin don't really change, although there are some things that would be disrupted. So for example, it might become less normal to see white people so widely represented on screen. You would see other people of color, and so the idea of what it means to be normative in the context of media representation might change. But otherwise, things largely would remain the same. Think of it like this. If you have two white police officers who are patrolling a black neighborhood, they may be the minority in terms of racial population, but they are the only ones who have the legal authority to take life with little to no repercussions.